State and Johns Hopkins. After a 98-minute weather delay, we are off and running. Naruski against Fritz. And the first possession belongs to the helmet. 45% are the Buckeyes a man up. This is a howitzer from the outside to score.
Moving forward for the rest of the year.
In the aftermath of Ohio State's matchup with Maryland last weekend. Ball down, Wallen Field here, Homewood Field in Baltimore. The cradle of lacrosse. Jack Myers, the #1 assist man, sneaks and scores! Jack Myers.
It was an interesting substitution game being played by Ohio State. They had a late player trot off, and Hopkins just never marked up. Look, you've got the All-American behind the cage, and you've got offensive midfielders for Hopkins stuck on defense. You cannot let someone the side.
1-0 Buckeyes. They have possession on the strength of a goal from Jack Myers. Myers has goals in 10 of his 12 this season.
See that left-hand corner, Hudgens, perfect timing.
Buckeyes striking again.
Blake Island, a defensive midfielder who can get some run on the offensive end. They have that much confidence in him. Feels good about the matchup. Just gets underneath. And the slot.
Ground and then firing up the fan base here at Homewood. Melendez gets underneath. Melendez on the dive. Walland spikes that away. Schuyler.
They have got to take the fight to the Buckeyes.
Quick pass to the interior. The quick stick from Sheehan. That's denied by Marcille. He'll send the outlet for Cody Ince. Begins to shoot for the Blue Jays. Bauer off the invert. Matched up with Island. Shot clock at 8. Bauer gets topside, no shooting space. They find Angelus. He slings and scores! Jacob Angelus.
You have to love the patience of Hopkins. Working short time on the shot clock. They do not panic. They keep the ball hot. They stick to their principles. They work the ball up top and then down low. And watch Angelus use the defender as a screen. Hopkins is on the board. Feed off the energy of their crowd. They've got to, like Jack told us this week, we've got to create our own excitement, our own buzz, and be competitive.
Bounce shot, score! A wicked release from McDermott.
Ohio State is starting Johnny Cool, freshman, for the second week in a row. He started against Maryland last weekend before giving way to the veteran Jacob Schneider. This is just great ball movement. And Casey McDermott slips out the backside, and no one follows him. On D33, time, room, Angelus feed means a goal.
Two tallies, 41 seconds apart, and the Blue Jays have the ball right back. Pass to the interior, point blank score! The wingman off the face-off, Jack Hawley, the captain for the Blue Jays.
Great to see Jack Hawley get a goal on homecoming. This is a guy who has just toiled on the face-off wings, excellent on ground balls, and he finds pay dirt on this one. Up ground balls. That is a juice goal if I ever did see one for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays.
Mitchell Pelkey driving in against the short stick defender, Brett Martin. Pelkey drawing a double. Zula comes there. The quick pass. Score! Sheehan off a brilliant feed from Pelkey.
Buckle up, folks. We have got ourselves a Big Ten brouhaha. This is an unbelievable look from Mitchell Pelkey. It's almost like having eyes in the back of your head. Watch him hit the brakes, boom! Changed his direction, and he just senses that Sheehan is going to be crashing to the near post. Look at this, quick flick, beautiful pass, and the redirect from Ed Sheehan.
40 seconds now in the quarter. Degnan marching in. Melendez, who had the extraordinary game last week, had the Blue Jays out to a 4-0 lead at Panzer against Penn State. Nittany Lions rallied to win that one in double OT. Melendez from deep. It trickles through. He scores!
We talk about Melendez being able to score goals in different ways. He can do it off the run. He can do it with time and room. He can do it down low, up high. This one, he's just going to squeeze by Skylar Wallen. Looks like it just had enough juice as Wallen read it. Was down, seemingly had the
temperatures dropped some 10 degrees, but now they're moving up again as Collison fires some high heat for himself.
Big goal for the freshman, who really burst on the scene here with a great first half of 2023. Has kind of hit the wall, the freshman wall, the last couple weeks. No goals in the last 3 games, but a little give and go from Peshko, the Canadian connection.
Brendan Grimes. Grimes, who has assists in 4 of his last 5. They circle up the formation. Collison quickly, Degnan fires and scores! Goals in 26 straight.
You talk about unique recruiting stories. Garrett Degnan missed a summer of lacrosse due to salmonella. Hopkins got themselves a late bloomer, and watch him just set his feet in the extra man and hum it.
So many alums back on campus. Great pass inside. Sheehan at the doorstep. The Blue Jays had scored 6 of the last 7 until that layup.
You talk about a gigantic goal. Ohio State was starting to enter a little bit of danger zone here. Trailing 6-3 on the road. You don't want this thing to get away from you. Jack Myers, this is the best he's looked in a couple of weeks. Look at that feet. And watch the eye contact between Myers and Sheehan. And that is not, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to get this. I'm just going to let it go out of bounds and we'll take possession. Smart veteran play.
Dylan Bauer, great move, he scores. Bauer strikes right back.
This will be the first unassisted goal for Johns Hopkins in this game. Dylan Bauer is listed at 5'9", 175. Watch him bully his way upfield and then spin inside. Beautiful move. Camille had to respect the classes of guys because you had guys like Myers who were still in play before the recruiting rules changed, so he committed when he was in the 9th grade. Then you have Van Buren, who after the rules changed.
Grimes on the finish. Pinpoint passing there from the Blue Jays.
The ball movement has been exceptional for Johns Hopkins in 2023. Brendan Grimes is one of those 9th grade commits, originally committed to Ohio State, flipped his decision to come here to Johns Hopkins, and you have to love the way number 9's been playing the last couple of weeks. He's more confident. Is scarlet and gray wide open like that. We talked to Alex Mazzone of Hopkins this week. He said you always have to know where 4 is every time he's on the field.
Borda, little shimmy and shake off the sweep, gets around Kaufman and scores! Kyle Borda.
I have really grown to appreciate Kyle Borda's game over the last 3-4 weeks. He's like Gumby. 6'4", a very tall drink of water, but I love how he contorts his body and adjusts his body to his situation. Slithers around the 2 checks from the Hopkins defense and actually makes himself skinnier than everyone else.
Shorthanded are the Buckeyes. Myers sprinting to the cage, gets underneath, walks in and scores! A shorthanded goal for Jack Myers.
Myers is moving so well today. moving as well as I've seen him over the last month. This is no easy task if you're Jack Myers. You've got the top two defensemen, Alex Mazzone and Scott Smith, on you. You split them, and then you have to protect your stick because you know they're coming after you with the trail checks. Soaks a couple, gets the free score, and then Ohio State goes down and finishes it. Now they're running the same daggone play that they ran before, but they're running it a lot more crisper and cleaner.
To the interior for Degnan, deflected away from him by the veteran defender, Jacob Snyder, the organizer for these Buckeyes on the back end. 5th turnover for the Blue Jays. So that bonus extra man time has not treated Johns Hopkins well at all. DeChico forced back here on the ride, slings it down. High-scoring freshman. Angelis brings it for Degnan. Camille, short stick defensive midfielder back behind the cage. Against Collison on the question mark. He scores.
Hopkins is dominating Ohio State shorties thus far in the game. We saw Dylan Bauer beating his man clean to the cage, and now we're going to see Collison. And this is a little bit of a change of pace for the big man. Operating from behind the cage, getting in to his defender, and watch him push away. Puts 2 hands on the...
Every passing week.
Makes them different, makes them more athletic, makes them more dangerous and unpredictable when he's in the game.
This is Kyle Lewis on the go, no goals in his last 4. Lewis works it back behind Sheehan. Smith fires, he scores! A buzz bomb from number 4.
Alex Mazzone, defender for Hopkins, spoke with him this week. He said, we always have to know where number 4 is. Hopkins dodged a bullet earlier when Marcia was able to make the save, but they're not going to be able to do it here. Lewis just gets the Johns Hopkins defense ball watching.
Against Hudgens, a marquee matchup today. Melendez wheeling back behind. Talks about the free flow, positionless offense for the Blue Jays. Grimes push it, work it inside, fire and score! On cue, Melendez.
This is a pretty goal. You gotta love Brendan Grimes forcing the issue. Short time, presses the edge, gets the defense sliding and rotating, and watch Melendez catch the beautiful feed. The whirling dervish. Catches it inside, spins away from the pressure, locates his spot, and finishes with the whirl. Are playing good, but which ones can steal some here in the second half?
Naruski digging in against Kraske. The ball going to be awarded to the Blue Jays off the violation.
So many different storylines as we go into the end of the regular season.
Blue Jays get their arch rivals Maryland next weekend. Maryland, which lost to Michigan for the first time ever this year. Degnan tiptoes in and scores.
Hopkins has experienced a number of injuries, particularly in the beginning of the year, so there were a lot of rotating lineups. The silver lining to all this, all the different guys who can score goals and learn this offense in real games. Degnan, not the most velocity from the big lefty, but he's so wide open and so free, he just kind of...
As Evans shares the rock with McDermott, picking up speed against Camille. McDermott fires, he scores! On the run.
Casey McDermott has been plugging away all day. This second midfield unit of him, English, and Evans started the game, and now John Crawley is starting to mix and match. And look at that, just a head of steam running downhill, catches Camille on his heels, and there's nothing number 8 can do to stop the McDermott Express from
Pozo. Ohio State loves to work the pick game.
let's go, White!
Feed it inside, that gets away from Caputo off of his cross. The freshman didn't get a handle on that. Raposo jets back along for the Blue Jays, who have their largest lead in the game right now. Kaufman fires, he scores! Nick Kaufman!
A pole goal on homecoming has to be a huge thrill for the long stick midi, Nick Kaufman. Poor decision by Ohio State to try to jam the crease, and just a collapse by 3 or 4 white jerseys. Raposo leads the breakout, and then number 1 says, give it to me, I know what to do. And he fires and scores. 70 inches of titanium, running him out of the box.
McDermott has the ball now against Langermeyer. Angeles, the conductor for Evans, playing hide and seek. He's got Island hung up. Wallen comes out of the cage to flush him out. Evans, inside roll, good defensive positioning. Degnan pulls the trigger.
Hopkins is cooking with gas right now. They have put the pedal to the metal here in the third quarter. We saw this last weekend against Maryland. Wallen is aggressive when you get defenders hung up for Ohio State. Degnan. I think Wallen thought he was going to go low as he made, but Hopkins is continuing to win faceoffs and thus continuing to put pressure on this Ohio State defense.
When Colby Smith scored late in the opening half, it was a 9-7 game. Since then, 5 unanswered for the Blue Jays to stretch it out.
The Ohio State's just been really sloppy in the offense since then.
This one rattles in. Another tally on the board for the Blue Jays. Degnan has his 4th.
You've got all kinds of issues if you're Ohio State. Degnan steps inside, just has enough mustard on this shot. This Buckeye defense is under siege. Hopkins is taking full advantage. Michigan, Ohio State lacrosse rivalry, that's something else these days, and that's going to be no easy task.
And I'm sure Buckeyes fans are out there yelling right now, hey, hold your horses. There's a lot of time to go in this game with a deficit 8 for the Buckeyes. Blue Jays coming to the rescue here defensively. Marcial sprints from the goal. Marcial will leg it across. Marcial, who scored a goal earlier this season against North Carolina, this pass gets away. Marcial has a goal and an assist this season. Picked up a helper against Virginia. Timeout, Blue Jays.
Very slim, but you have to give Ohio State a ton of credit for playing the schedule that they played this year.
Borda finds Allen, quick stick, that one rattles around and out. Ari Allen nearly converting that, and the Blue Jays come up off the ground, running for cover.
You know, you saw how much Nick Myers loves his team with his reaction last weekend to the glove situation.
Bullet drive from the outside, Collison stings the corner.
Everything right now that Johns Hopkins touches is turning to gold. Collison the trail, and he's got range. We talked about it earlier. That little rocker step away, turn back shot that he scored earlier really isn't his bread and butter. Things like this are left-handed sweeps, and then planting his feet, picking the spot, and delivering a full.
Melendez checking that with a look over his shoulder. Now speeds in off the split dodge from right to left. Inside roll, behind the back, score! Magnificent release from Melendez.
The Blue Jay faithful love it. They had to wait 90+ minutes, but they are getting their money's worth. If you're a defender like Hudgens, Westtown, spending his 5th year here at Johns Hopkins, his Georgetown teammates last check up by 2 late against Marquette in the fourth quarter. That Big East so competitive with Georgetown, Denver, Villanova having a good year. But Mazzone telling us that he wanted to come to a school that was like academically and like Lacrosse. It just always kind of brought a smile to your face. Really upbeat. Really just a lot of fun.
Ball down, comes up for the Buckeyes. They come a running with Cullen Brown. Pelkey said his first ever video was of him giving a friend a terrible haircut as Myers goes to the cage. With a timeout on the field, and it does appear as if Myers will be awarded that goal. Johns Hopkins turning things up in the second half. We step away. We'll get you back to Homewood. This one from Myers counts. And by Ed Sheehan.
So Ohio State Ball Club. This one, as time is dwindling away, now you have to shift your focus to that team up north.
Great catch and finish. Caputo at the top of the crease. This time it's a crease violation. No goals coming up early in the week, but on April 15th, the Blue Jays will now be 12-2 all time.
Wow.
Off the bench to congratulate are the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays, 10-game winners now on the season, convincingly over Ohio State by the final of 17-8.
A big win for Johns Hopkins to get back a game that they felt like they gave away last weekend against Penn State, or at least missed an opportunity against the Nittany Lions after jumping out to a 5-0 lead. They had possessions in both overtimes, not able to cash in. They cashed in here today. A dominant third quarter. The homecoming crowd, the alumni go home extremely happy as Hopkins celebrates a dominating win. 9-goal victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes.